This is Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television for the weeks of November 22nd to December 28th, 2025. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Brent Barrett.
I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And I'm Wendy Hembrock.
And we've been gone for a while with a bunch of colds that we've all caught and the holidays and travel plans and such. We have not recorded for about a month. So we got a little bit to catch up on when we get diving into the shows later on in the articles. But first, before we go there, I wanted to announce that we did get a winner for the contest we were running. One of our great listeners was donating a set of Farscape DVDs, and Nico on our Discord has won that. Maybe Kevin has more details.
Yeah, it was great. Again, this was thanks to listener Doug, who sent us a voice message a few weeks back, but he was very generous to give away these gently used Farscape DVDs, as well as the other DVDs, the Stargate ones earlier, so it was great to have one of our listeners get to receive those. I know Nico mentioned it in the one of the discussions on the Discord, so can't wait to hear, how much fun they get to have with them.
Yeah, congratulations, Nico. You got a very cool show to look forward to, and thank you, Doug, for your generosity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I did want to announce that we have the TIST Hall of Fame coming up. This is something we do every year. We have a Hall of Fame up on our website where we induct entities. We call them entities because it's not just a person. It could be a show, it could be an object, it could be a piece of technology, it could be an industry, it could be anything. And it has to be genre TV related and at least 10 years old to qualify for the Hall of Fame. But we're running that again this year. Normally we do it at the end of the year, but because of the delays and the things we've been having, the conflicts, we're going to extend that through the end of January. So either send us an email or head on over to our Hall of Fame channel on Discord and nominate up to 5 qualifying entities. And if you want to find out what's qualifying or find out what's already been in the Hall of Fame, just go up to our website, tuningintoscifitv.com. Click on the Hall of Fame link at the top, and you'll find out.
Yeah, it's always great to see the suggestions that the listeners throw at us, along with each of us coming up with our own to put in there. So got to get my brain starting to think about this now. I got a few that have been kind of on my list for a couple of years. A couple of them I've been waiting to qualify and stuff. So it's always fun to look at that.
It is. It's always a nice way to wrap up the year and look forward to the new one. And it's always fun to see what people are campaigning for. And we do look at things based on, interest as well. So if there's things that other folks are mentioning that you agree with, we would love to hear you give your thumbs up or offer your ideas.
And just to let Kurt know, we did see your nomination. We got it.
Got to give him credit every year. Kurt is there.
Kurt is faithful.
Yeah, someday it'll get in. All right, before we move on over to the water cooler, just one last thing. We wanted to let you guys know ahead of time. We have signed up for some ads that might be playing on our podcast. And I know Kevin has a lot of details on that, but it's just, a way for us to help pay for the show. We've been paying out of our pocket for many, many years, and we're just looking for some other ways to get some revenue in just to help cover the costs.
Yeah, we're going to be experimenting with a couple of different things in the coming weeks or months. So by all means, your feedback will be important, folks. If it's something you barely notice, wonderful, let us know. If it's something you find obtrusive, let us know. There's a couple of different things we can try and experiment with. So as Brent said, just hoping to help offset a little bit of some of the costs there. So don't want to make it stop your enjoyment in any way, shape, or form, but our community is very important to us, so don't be bashful.
Yep, we appreciate the support, and hopefully the ads will possibly be of value, and hopefully, if not of value, at least not too annoying.
That's the goal, not too annoying. All right, it is time now to head on over to the spoiler-free water cooler.
Hey there, TISF TV family. Mark Decote here from Solo Talk Media, and host of Ellie's Tale, The Last of Us podcast. If you're a fan of the TV show The Last of Us and would like a companion podcast to go along with it, I encourage you to listen to Ellie's Tale. I give a unique spin on the podcast where I don't have a co-host. I'm not discussing the show with anybody. I just open up the airwaves to my listeners for them to submit feedback. So you get to hear from many, many fans of the show, give you their thoughts, theories, and impression of each episode. If that sounds like something you're interested in, look for Ellie's Tale, The Last of Us podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. And for more Solo Talk Media shows, visit solotalkmedia.com. Thanks, and take care.
First up on the water cooler, we're going to talk about all the shows that were on over the last month. We've got surprisingly few shows, but a lot of episodes. So let's start out with Ghosts. We have 3 episodes of Ghosts that have aired. Episode 7 of Season 5, The Proposal. Episode 8 of Season 5, The Life and Times of Esther Green. And Episode 9 or 9 and 10, not quite sure, of Season 5, It's a Wonderful Christmas Carol, Parts 1 and 2. I would give The Proposal a let it sit. It didn't really work for me. But I'd go low watch it soon for The Life and Times of Esther Green. And I'd give a regular watch it soon for the Christmas special at the end.
For me, I would go high watch it soon. Then a low watch it soon, and then, as you said, for the Christmas pair, I would give that as a whole a high watch it soon.
Yeah, first one I would give a regular watch it soon. The second one I'd also give a regular watch it soon. And the Christmas special 2-parter, I'd give a high watch it soon.
Okay, we all went from lower to higher there, so cool. All right, we also have a show that I caught up on that Kevin and Wendy have been watching called Pluribus, because as you may know, I have a very limited time subscription to Apple TV. And we have a few episodes, I think 5 of that as well, including the season finale. Episode 5 of Season 1 entitled Got Milk. Episode 6 of Season 1 entitled HDP. Episode 7 of Season 1 entitled The Gap. And Episode 8 of Season 1, Charm Offensive. And finally, Episode 9, the season finale of Season 1, La Chica o el Mundo. I'm going to go with a watch it soon for the Gotten Milk episode, but then high watch it soons for the final 4. I think it ended pretty strongly.
Yeah, for me, the first one, I would go a low watch it soon, but then it's building up to, as you said, Brent, probably watch it soon, 2 high watch it soons, and a watch it now for the finale.
So I would basically follow the same. Watch it soon for Got Milk, high watch it soon for HDP and The Gap. Low watch it now for Charm Offensive, and I have not seen the finale.
Uh-oh. I watched something on Apple TV before, Wendy. I'm blown away.
Yeah, make a note of the date.
I did have a cold and out-of-town visitors.
Yeah, you had excuses. All right, moving on, we have the return of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Got 4 episodes. Episode 1 of Season 2, I Play Dodgeball with Cannibals. Episode 2 of Season 2, Demon Pigeons Attack. Episode 3 of Season 2, We Board the Princess Andromeda. And Episode 4 of Season 2, Clarice Blows Up Everything. I'm going to give the first 2 watch it soon, but the next 2, 3 and 4, I'm going to go high watch it soon. They're on the roll. They're doing something.
Yeah, my ratings are very close. 2 watch it soons, a high watch it soon, and I'd actually tick the latest one to watch it now.
Yeah, I'd go 2 watch it soons and 2 high watch it soons.
I think I've become the curmudgeon in the group now that Kevin's giving away watch it nows, and I'm not doing it. Yeah, we'll find out, though. Let's check out Stranger Things. That's the next one on our list. We have the first 7 episodes because the first 4, or I don't know exactly when they were released, but I can't remember, but it was after our last recording. And then the final 3 that we've seen so far were released on Christmas Day. We got episode 1 of season 5, chapter 1, The Crawl. Episode 2 of 5, The Vanishing, not Vanquishing, thank goodness, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. And then we got 503, The Turnbow Trap. 504, Sorcerer. 505, Shock Jock. 506, Escape from Kamazats. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Episode 7, season 5, The Bridge. And of course, we're all awaiting the finale that's coming out on New Year's. I would give mixed ratings for all of them. I'd say for The Crawl, The Return, I'd give it high watch it soon. For the next 2 episodes, they were low watch it nows for me. Episode 4, The Sorcerer, which was the kind of the first chunk finale, I'd give a watch it now. And then when it returned, I'd give a couple of watch it highs and a low watch it now for The Bridge.
Ooh, I think we're pretty close, and you're pretty close on the pronunciation, Kamazats there, right? Yeah, I think mine went watch it soon, high watch it soon, high watch it soon, watch it now, watch it soon, then watch it now, and high watch it soon.
I'm almost the same as Kevin. Hi, watch it soon. Hi, watch it soon. Hi, watch it soon. Watch it now. Shock Jock was watch it soon. Escape from Camazotz was watch it now. Low watch it now, and The Bridge was just a regular watch it now.
Excellent. All right. Well, we got one more show, and that's Fallout. It came back for season 2. We've had 2 episodes. Episode 1 of season 2, The Innovator, and episode 2 of season 2, The Golden Rule. I would give them both a low watch it now. I'm digging it.
I'm not liking them as much as I want to yet, but I can feel a good building story. So I give the first one a watch it soon. I thought it started slower than I wanted. And then the high watch it soon.
So I've only seen the first one, and I would give it a solid watch it now. Watch it soon. Almost high.
Okay. Disappoints me. I guess I'm not the curmudgeon when it comes to Fallout. All right. We've got some news, some articles, some links that you guys might enjoy. And Kevin's going to kick us off with some bad news about one of his, I don't know if it's favorite shows, but he really liked it.
Yeah, I liked aspects of it. We're talking here about the Sci-Fi Channel's show Surreal Estate. And to no one's surprise, it was announced by the showrunner that the show will not be coming back for another season. This is a show that I think most of you know stars Tim Rozon, who, I think I adore, both as an actor and as a person. So, yeah, watching for that. The show as a whole, I don't know, it had its ups and downs, but it's certainly one I watched regularly. But, it finished airing in June. We heard absolutely nothing out of Sci-Fi for months, which can't be a good sign. I mean, I know they need to take a little time nowadays to, check out streaming numbers and DVR numbers and such. But, yeah, once it got a few months past, that writing was on the wall. But the showrunner announced on one of his social media accounts that, yep, definitely won't be coming back. So sad to see in one case. In another case, who knows? Maybe we'll find another good genre show for Tim.
Well, we had talked about this because I did watch it because I wanted to see. I kind of caught up later, and it felt like it was a finale. If it wasn't going to come back, it certainly sort of tied a bow around everything and set up a good situation for the Tim Rozon character, and it left the door open to go forward, but it felt like it put a bow on everything for me. So I can't say that I'm disappointed that I won't get more. I didn't love it that much. It was entertaining enough. I really do like Tim Rozon a lot as an actor, though, so whatever he gets as his next gig, I'll definitely be interested to check out.
Yeah, Tim is cool, so yeah, I would check out anything he was into as well. I never really got into Surreal Estate. I saw the first season, and I thought it was a little uneven, but, at least entertaining enough that I didn't regret watching it. Then I watched, I think, some of the second season, and I was like, I don't think it's really for me. But so I'm not too sad that it's going away, but like you guys said, Tim was a draw there, and he's a good actor, so we'll look forward to what he's into next. All right, moving on. Wendy has some news about Paradise.
Yeah, we'll have a link in the show notes to a trailer, a nice meaty trailer for season 2, and it's coming back pretty soon, February 23rd. So actually, after I saw this trailer, I was like, ooh, I'm looking forward to this. I did enjoy season 1, and season 2 looks like it's going to pick up right where we left off.
Yeah, Paradise is a show that I think I tried to watch, but I just couldn't get into it, so I haven't really caught up, and I haven't been watching. So I'm glad it's coming back. My wife loves it, apparently. She talks about it, and she says she likes it, so good for her. Good for anybody who's watching it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that it's back. And Wendy and I have had conversations. I mean, this is a show that technically is genre, but genre is a really small part of it, so you got to be into some good dramas, good acting and such to really if you really want to enjoy this show. But I'm curious, and we've touched on this in our conversations too. It seemed like it had a good first season. I'm not sure how they're going to, quote, stretch it out from here based on where we're going. So I'll keep a very positive look, but, got to wait and see how much it engages me from week to week going forward. But glad it's only a few weeks away before we get a shot at it.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to pay off some questions and create some new ones.
Yep. Mysteries and all that. Okay. Well, I've got some news about a show that I think we've all three of us enjoyed, School Spirits. There's a season 3 coming. We did see season 1 and season 2 and talk about it on the podcast if you want to go back and watch or listen to what we had to say about it. But the official season 3 teaser and premiere date has come out. The teaser, I don't think really gave much away, although it did confuse me a bit. I don't want to give any spoilers to season 2, but where season 2 ended, I didn't think season 3 was teasing where a continuation of that. So I'm a little confused, but I guess we'll find out when the real trailer comes. It is going to be on Paramount Plus, and it is going to be premiering January 28th.
Yeah, I was the latecomer to the show, having binged it just a few months ago. So I was very excited when we got a date pretty soon, because this is very fresh in my mind. Really enjoyed it. And a little bit like Paradise in the sense of, okay, do we have another season worth of stuff to cover here? Because I thought we were at kind of what made a certain point in the story. But hey, these folks have kept me very entertained, and I'm very glad I was able to get back into it. So I'm looking forward to covering it and talking about it with my co-hosts as it airs.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught up, Kevin. The teaser definitely was a tease and just a great boost that it's coming so soon, but I really would like to see a real trailer.
Yeah, I just absolutely need that real trailer because I am so confused. I thought I remembered where season 2 ended, and either I don't remember it or something's going on. Okay, well, a show that I do seem to recall how it ended is The Boys. We have a trailer for its final season, and Kevin's going to talk about it.
I do, and if you haven't seen it, folks, yet, link is in the show notes, as with all of our stuff that we talk about here. And as we like to say in terms, the trailer is a meaty one. Got 2 minutes worth of content here for their final season. Also the premiere date, April the 8th, so it's still several months away. But being the final season, when where things are left, they've done a good job, I think, with the trailer as far as making us realize it's showdown time. Things are going to be coming to a crescendo, and all of our regulars are shown here, and some other characters as well, and we got some new ones, some fresh faces we recognize and things. So let's see how gory and what it's like going out.
Yeah, it was interesting because the trailer really didn't lean into the gore, gross kind of stuff. It really was about sort of Avengers assemble and go out swinging, which I liked a lot. I'm going to be really curious, though, because of all the actors that played in Supernatural, how much it makes winks to Supernatural as well, which I didn't even think about until I saw this trailer, and it was sort of how they cut a reaction shot between one of the characters and another one from Supernatural. But I'm actually looking forward to this. But because of all the stuff that's coming, I'm glad it isn't coming till April, because there's a lot coming in January and February.
Yeah, a lot of new stuff. And yeah, I had the same kind of reaction you did when I saw the other actor from Supernatural appear. Like, oh yeah, I forgot that he was going to be on the show. Hearing about it and wondering what they're going to, how they're going to have these two together, and if there are any kind of reactions, or if they're even not together. Maybe they never see each other. Who knows? Maybe there's just clever editing. But The Boys has been an interesting show. It's been up and down. I've enjoyed it. It's been entertaining. It's just a couple seasons ago, or I don't remember exactly which season it was just they focused way too much on the gore and shock value and not as much on the story, which kind of was annoying. But they seem to get back into their groove, and definitely the other shows, the spinoff shows tying into them, have given more context to the show that makes it more exciting for me to see how The Boys actually finishes out. So I'm really looking forward to it. All right. Wendy's got a couple of links about the George R.R. Martin universe.
Yeah, so first we have a House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer, which is definitely a substantive trailer. And we also have the official final trailer for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which that's coming very soon. That's coming July 18th for the premiere, and I think it actually looks pretty good. So I'm starting to get a little bit more excited about this, and I believe I mentioned on our last show, but I'll mention it again, we are going to have a small council talking about this show. You
did mention that. I'm actually kind of excited about that, because while I'm not really a fan of House of the Dragon. I haven't really watched it. Night of the Seven Kingdoms seems really interesting to me. This trailer just made it more interesting. I'm more intrigued and more curious to watch it. So I will be watching it and look forward to hearing the Small Council talk about it.
Yeah, just one quick correction there. It's January the 18th, not July. I think Wendy might have said July, so we don't want to scare anyone who's expecting it very soon.
Did I say July? Sorry.
Hey, I've had a cold too. Maybe I misheard, but I thought I heard July. Brent will find
my apologies.
in the edit, find out which one of us. But yeah, no, and I've touched on this. The final trailer, this universe hasn't been that engaging for me in terms of, but this looks like, I'm going to wait and, hear a couple of things on the first episode or two, and then I might be diving in too, because it does look like it could be interesting.
It certainly does. All right. Well, I've got a article here about a show that we haven't really been watching, none of us. It's called Sanctuary, A Witch's Tale. Apparently there's a season 2 trailer. It's an AMC Plus show. It's streaming on AMC Plus, coming out December 25th, so it's already out by the time you hear this podcast. And the trailer, I don't know much about this show, but the trailer looks very interesting. It looks like it could be a show that's very slow and character-driven and plotting with not a very high, a quick pace to the storytelling, which is something that I personally don't like that much. But it looks like it's got some really interesting characters and some pretty action-y bits, pretty exciting-looking bits. So I don't know. I might like this. I might have to check it out. I'd like to hear from other folks on our Discord, listeners, tuners, if they've seen it and what they think.
Yeah, very similar to you in terms of not being aware of this and then looking at the trailer going, this could be interesting. I'm not sure in my current TV package if I've got AMC, or I need AMC Plus only to get this, so I'm not sure there. But like Brent said, if there's folks out there watching it, please comment to see if it's worth kind of digging in to make it worth the while.
So I don't have AMC Plus. I may potentially have access to it. I had a limited access to it to watch Alien Earth. So I would love to hear what people think about this show, especially if they watched season 1 already. When I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks like a great British show. Why haven't I heard of it? So I'd be definitely curious to hear if folks think that I should go out and look for another AMC Plus source so I can watch it as well.
Yeah, the only reference to it I can see in our Discord is Nico actually posting the link to the teaser or to the trailer that we're linking to here, and commenting that Nico didn't even know that it existed before seeing, the what's coming up on AMC Plus sort of reel. So we don't have a lot of information. Okie dokie, moving on. Kevin, you've got some news about, it's not animated, but it's Avatar.
Yes, and thank you for clarifying that. But yes, we do. Link in the show notes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, live action version, season 2, coming to Netflix. So we've got, they're calling it the official teaser, a little over a minute long, available now. And all they're saying as far as release information is 2026. No idea of time of year or anything beyond that, at least now from Netflix. This trailer dropped about, as we're recording, 2 to 3 weeks ago, early December. And, well over 3 million views. So obviously there's a lot of folks very interested. I mean, I don't know if either of my co-hosts watched season 1, but it hasn't quite grabbed me to make me want to watch, I gotta say.
I am not a huge Avatar fan. I haven't watched the most recent movie, and I'm not interested in this. I don't know why, but it's just not really doing it for me.
Yeah, it didn't really do it for me either, but I don't know why either. I mean, it looks like the kind of thing I might actually enjoy. I didn't watch the animated show at all, so I don't have any background. And I guess when the live action came out, I was thinking to myself, well, I never saw the animated, so this probably isn't for me. But maybe, I don't know. Again, let's let people who are listeners here chime in. Let us know. Is this a live action Avatar something that we should go back to season 1 and dive in on? Is it good? Don't just say it's good, though. Tell us a little bit more about it than that, please. But we'd really like hearing from you. All right. And something that I think we're all interested in coming up is Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and Wendy's got some links.
Yeah, we have a link to what they're calling an exclusive clip, and it's a meaty, probably 4 minutes of a whole lengthy scene with Holly Hunter, our leader, captaining the educational ship. And we get a lot of interesting special effects. We get a big bad interaction that I'm not going to go into more details about. But if you check it out, I'm sure you'll follow what's happening. It looked really good. And I'm definitely, planning to watch this. I'm very interested in how they're going to spin up this show for sure. And, it's coming fairly soon, January 15th.
Yeah, the clip did look entertaining to me. I have my concerns. I've aired them on the podcast before about this show. I did not like the way Star Trek Discovery went when they went into the future. I did not like that show at all. In fact, I even stopped watching it at some point. So the fact that this is run by the same people, the fact that it's in the same time frame, the same some of the same cast, not a lot, but a couple apparently, it makes me really dubious, really nervous about it. So the clip was good. I still personally think it's kind of stupid to have the Academy on an active starship. It seems like the showrunners are just trying to have the best of both worlds, have their cake and eat it too. Let's do a starship show, but let's also do an Academy show. Why don't they just do an Academy show or a starship show, or have two different shows? I don't know. So I think it's kind of gimmicky, but I will check it out.
Yeah, it was, as Wendy said, it was good to see a real good length of time of a clip for it. I'm still very interested. And, as Brent said, it all comes down to what the tone is going to be over multiple episodes. I mean, it's Star Trek and Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti and some other characters we've seen. So there's lots that can be going well for it. So definitely we'll be there. We're only, from the time of our recording, 2.5 weeks or so, middle of January. So going to be great to have this to dive in regularly each week. And hopefully it's something that I want to keep coming back for.
Yeah, that's always the goal. Absolutely. All right, well, I've got a link to something about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. It's a season 2 special look. Now, we talked about in the quick reviews how there have been 2 episodes so far as of the time of this recording. But this special look talks about, or shows us little bits about the whole season 2. So I think it's still worth looking at, even if you are up to date on Percy Jackson season 2. It's got some stuff that we have seen already and some stuff that we have not seen. So a little bit of a tease there. It is, like I said, airing now on Disney Plus. So check it out.
Yeah, this was a nice little one to give us some insights of what's coming. We start to see some of it play out in the first, 3 or 4 episodes that have aired. So I'm enjoying the season so far. I'm thinking they're building up pretty good, which they did in season 1. So it's nice to have a little bit of tease, if you will, to what we got coming.
Yeah, this was nice to see. Although, as you said, we're in it, so I really didn't need a more tease, but because I'm enjoying this season. I think they've picked up right where I wanted them to go, and enjoying it.
Yeah, if I said 2 episodes, I'm sorry. I meant a couple, which meant 4 that we've had so far. All right, Kevin, another show I know we are all excited about is Stranger Things 5, and you've got a link.
I do. Link in the show notes. Folks, if you're unaware, Netflix has a YouTube channel, official channel, called Still Watching Netflix. I highly recommend, if you're a fan of shows on Netflix, subscribing to it. They do a lot of promotional things and behind-the-scenes stuff and so forth. And the link in the show notes is to a series called Stranger Things 5 Inside the Episodes. It is essentially what you'd get on the old classic DVD bonus features, only there's an episode for matching each of the aired episodes. So at this point, as we're recording, you've got 7 of them in the playlist that we linked to. And these things are 11 to 15 minutes long for each episode, and it's got all the typical stuff from talking to the actors, the director, behind the scenes people, costume, all that. So you're getting a look at the episode from a lot of the creatives that helped to make it. So these are great. They dropped them, the day after these episodes aired. So there should be another one, at least one coming after we get the New Year's Eve, series finale one. So excellent ones, highly recommended, especially if you're someone who likes diving deep into what which you see there. And again, that channel as well for any of the other Netflix series, you'll oftentimes see other things like that there as well.
This was nice to see. I only had a chance to watch the one that was for the final episode of this batch. I will go back to the first one and watch all the way through. I just didn't have time, but they're definitely the inside of the episode kind of details that I like and expect, and they're very cool.
Kind of reminds me from the description of Doctor Who Confidential that they used to do back in the David Tennant era. I have not seen these, but that sounds like something I do want to see. So I'm thinking maybe in the next couple of days before we get the finale, I'm going to go watch all those. Thank you, Kevin.
You got it. Like I say, definitely, I think someone like you, or many of our listeners will, because it's not just 3 or 4. Sometimes we get these for like 4 minutes, 5 minutes on a show, and you blink and you miss it. But like I said, these are 10 to 15 minutes. So you got a pretty good look at what's normally a 45 to 60 minute episode.
Meaty, as the word is used often to describe. Yeah, it's meaty. All right. Well, Wendy, you've got a link about something happening on Apple TV.
Yeah, so Kevin and I both liked the Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and I guess Apple was pleased enough with how it's doing that now they're launching Monsterverse spinoff, which will focus on the character that Wyatt Russell played, which was called Lee Shaw. The series doesn't have a new title yet, but it's going to be set in 1984, and it's going to focus on Shaw trying to stop the Soviets from unleashing a creature to turn the tide during the Cold War. So it's going to have the same showrunners that we have for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. And, maybe there'll be some of the other folks. But they didn't give a hint around any of the characters that we've seen in the series now. And if you, just for folks' continuity, the series that's airing is set in 1982. So I guess this is considered a sequel.
Very cool. Now that I have Apple TV Plus, I was planning to watch Monarch. So I don't know when this comes out. Maybe not in time for me to watch it in my temporary 6-month or whatever subscription I have. But it does sound interesting. 1984, though. I was in high school, so they better get it right. That's all I'm saying, because I'll be really picky if I watch this and they got the wrong technology in there or something.
I don't see a projected date yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that we're going to stay in the universe for another show. I know I saw some comments on our Discord and even had the same thoughts myself, like, oh, that's the character you're going to spin off? Not the most interesting yet of the characters there, but okay, if it's going to be dealing with monsters and Godzilla and other stuff, then okay. I mean, better to have it, and we'll see how it pans out. But obviously more excited about having Monarch Season 2 coming in just a few weeks.
Yeah, when I saw that it was going to be that particular character, I was like, But he ends up becoming the Kurt Russell version, who is a more interesting character. So maybe he'll be more heading towards his future self.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not negative on it. It's just like, oh, that's the one you picked. So, yeah, it'll all come down to the content.
Very cool. Now, I've got a quick little link here. Not even really worth too much discussion, but if you've been watching Fallout now that Season 2 has come out, you will have noticed that it didn't drop all the episodes. They've moved to a weekly release schedule for Season 2 of Fallout, which is good and bad. I get why people like weekly because it gives you time to think about it, time to talk about it. But I just like to just devour stuff. And I cannot wait a week anymore for another episode of a show. So I'm a little upset about this change. But anyway, they are doing it weekly now.
Yeah, and seeing this gave me the smile for just that reason. Knowing how many of us like to discuss that choice, shall we say? Would you rather binge or go them week to week? For me, this year with Fallout and having them start it right around the holidays when, as we've been talking about Stranger Things and everything else, there's a million other things. I'm glad I don't have to avoid spoilers for weeks to catch up. So I guess the timing was okay, but I get it. A show like Fallout that really is definitely, one story just chunked down to a set of episodes. I get why, all at once would make a lot of sense, but again, it's more for those folks because season 1 they did as a full season drop, so this was definitely a shift and a change for those who haven't had time to even check out Fallout yet.
Yeah, there's a lot coming out right now, so it's kind of okay with me that they're going to slow roll some of it so I can keep up.
Yeah, I get it. But do it for shows I don't like as much as Fallout, please. For shows I really like, I want to watch it all now. All right, speaking of shows I really like, all of, and they did drop them all at once, is Arcane, and Kevin's got some information.
Yeah, another link to YouTube, a playlist for those who enjoy the behind-the-scenes stuff. If you're a fan of Arcane, hopefully you're already aware that way back when the show was coming out, they did an excellent series of behind-the-scenes stuff called Bridging the Rift. So definitely take a search for that if you haven't seen it, though it's about 10 episodes, many of those 30-plus minutes looking at all aspects of the show, from the music to the voice acting to obviously the amazing animation and all. But recently they put out a different series for Arcane called Looking Back. This is a shorter one. There's only 3 episodes, and the episodes are 10 to 20 minutes long. But it's interesting stuff because it is just that. As far as looking back, they're talking to folks who were, again, the voice actors, the animators, the folks behind the show, for folks from Riot Games, the whole, do we know what we're doing? What do we have here kind of thing. So not as extensive or as long as the Bridging the Rift, but still, for the fact it's now been out, both seasons have been out for now over a year for the latest season. It's nice just to kind of go back there again, hear from some of the folks who helped to make it, some of the choices, the impact. Several minutes of this is talking to some of the folks who it's naturally subtitled because they're speaking in French and other languages since they use such a diverse crew to make this happen. So, and some of the emotional impacts on the folks for, when they help to bring this to life. So another good behind the scenes set of videos that I'd recommend.
Oh, cool. I have not had a chance to see these yet, but they sound very interesting.
I have also not seen them, but I do want to watch them. So it's another thing to look at this week. Yeah, it's just amazing to know that 2 of my favorite shows both have Ella Purnell in them. I love it. All right. Wendy has got some casting news.
Yeah, so first up, I've got casting news about Wednesday. And this is interesting. So in the last season, we were introduced to Morticia's sister, Ophelia, who is also a raven like Wednesday. And Eva Green has been cast to play her, which is very interesting. When I saw that name, I was like, oh, she'll fit right in the show. One of the things to note is that Ophelia has blonde hair, so that'll be interesting if they stick with that and give her blonde hair. But very interesting news for Wednesday. And then for Star Trek, we've got very interesting casting for Strange New Worlds. These characters are going to appear in the finale of season 5, so the very final episode. We're going to see Sulu and Dr. McCoy appear in the series. Thomas Jane is going to play Bones. And Kai Murakami is going to play Sulu. Thomas Jane, folks should know from things like The Punisher. He was in The Expanse. He's been in a lot of stuff. And Kai Murakami is kind of a newcomer. That he has some credits, but not to anything that I recognize. So this is very interesting. And as soon as I saw this news, I asked my co-hosts if they were thinking that they are maybe going to try to reboot the original series coming out of this show, which I'd be down for if it was comparable to Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, on the Star Trek casting, Kai is brand new, so I don't really have any comments, but Thomas Jane is somebody I'm familiar with, so I'm kind of excited to see him cast. And just in general, the fact that they cast these two for the very final episode that they just wrapped up filming on of the entire series, it leads to what you're saying, Wendy, which is, did they do that? Cast these people for this role because they're planning on more shows? And a lot of people are saying maybe they'll do a short-lived series where they cover the missions prior to when TOS starts, because that had been an established crew for a while when TOS started, so they actually had some missions. Obviously, they went to some strange new worlds, as it were, prior to the 5-year mission kicking off, or at least the 3 years we got in TOS. So that would be interesting. Eva Green, though, oh my God, I love Eva Green. I am in love with her ever since we saw her on the Penny Dreadful show. That's when I think I was first introduced to her, when I first realized who she was. And I really enjoyed her there, and I've enjoyed everything I've seen her in ever since. And I don't know how I would deal with a blonde Eva Green. I don't know if I've ever seen that, so it'd be interesting to see what they do. But Wednesday made another excellent casting choice by casting her.
Yeah, both of these sets of news are very interesting, and just right there with you, Brent. Eva Green on Penny Dreadful was just wow. I mean, I've since watched her in some other movies or things, and she's definitely one of those actors you can't take your eyes off of. She just brings so much to the screen. So it'd be very interesting to see some of the scenes she might be in, with some of our existing cast there. So that's wow. And the Thomas Jane casting, I was like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of that. So this is going to be one of those, once, you put them in a uniform probably and put them in with the other cast, gonna be very curious, especially since it's just the very end of that series, not knowing what the future may hold, even though they're obviously thinking about it. So these were definitely ones, even though it's going to be quite a while before we see it, that it's going to be interesting to be thinking about.
All right. Well, to wrap up the spoiler-free water cooler, we have a Tuner Minute as usual. This one was recorded by Wendy, and it's entitled Epic.
With the advancements in digital imagery, things like that volume background that's used in all the Star Wars shows on the Disney Plus channel, or virtual reality headsets and immersive spaces, or AI-generated everything, have those advances in technology changed your sense of an epic scale? Is there such a thing as an epic universe anymore? Does anything wow us on an epic scale like it used to, either as a landscape, a universe within the overall universe, a story with many, 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 many characters? Are we past the point of an epic scale feeling epic?
That is an interesting question, because as you were asking that, talking about it, I came to realize that, back in the day, this ties into, theatrical events, things where you go to the theater for. You would get an epic scale from, a grand movie about the West, conquering the West, right? You get grand, wide open prairies and stuff, and epic stuff that you don't see in a TV show. Or space-based things, right? 2001: A Space Odyssey comes to mind. Although I don't think I saw that in the theater. I did see the original Star Wars in the theater, and that comes to mind as well. So I think there definitely was a difference, really, between kind of television or TV movies and what they could do with their budget and with their technology, and what you could get from going to the theater for some kind of sort of a grand movie, some big budget movie, as it were. Has that changed my perception? I mean, I in a sense, yes. I mean, I still appreciate the epicness, even if it's like you said, with the abundance and ease of ability for even your average TV show to be able to do that kind of stuff these days. It hasn't changed my perception of the epicness, but it's changed my understanding of where I have to go to get it. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? So I still appreciate epic stuff, even if it's done on Firefly or done on, I don't know if Firefly did that much epic stuff, but I did in Serenity in the movie. But I guess The Expanse, although I wasn't a big fan of that show, but the people talk about that, or any show that gives you really grand stuff, like you talk about, even The Mandalorian or Star Wars stuff. I appreciate it and I like it. It doesn't change my perception of it in that sense. It just changes. I guess it used to be rare. It used to be something that was an event, and now it's almost commonplace. But is that a change in perception? I don't know. It's not a change in appreciation. Definitely, it might be a change in perception, though.
Yeah, I think it's kind of how you want to slightly spin the question or the look at this, because as has occurred, and we've talked many, many times, as I guess many of you have with your friends, those of you listening, the idea of the difference between TV and movie theater, and how they've been able to come a lot closer because of the quality of home entertainment systems and all. But then this is more on the side of the content itself, and they now have tools that can make especially TV shows look very epic and feel and sound. And if you have a decent sized TV and even just a basic home theater system, not even extra expensive, you can get a lot of that feel. I mean, you think of some of the Lord of the Rings TV series or Wheel of Time and some of these other ones we've had. I know I was more appreciative of when those were running to make sure that I watched it, on my larger TV, and that I also kind of set myself up to be totally immersed, to feel like, for me, that was what epic would be. Or like when you're at a theater, for me, when that's your only focus, you don't have your phone out and you don't have family members or the doorbell or whatever. To me, that can make that epic feel for a lot of these things. And it's so tools have made it, the gap of that close. And they've also taken advantage of some of the shows that they've been giving us and the money that some of these streamers throw into it so that it can feel that way. So I would probably avoid the word commonplace or common, but I do think it is much more available than it ever used to be at home.
Yeah, and one of the examples you gave was the Rings of Power, because I was rewatching the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring trilogy over the holidays, and I was like, wow, I remember seeing this on the screen, and it really was epic in that sense of awe-inspiring, or the grand scale of it all very much was present to me. And Brent mentioned the example of the original Star Wars, and when the ship comes into the frame from the top of the screen and it just goes on and on and on and on. That was epic to me. And we're in this vast universe, but I guess my question is, on TV, with having so much more of it around to us, are we losing the sense of the vastness of space, or the epic scale of some of these places that we're seeing stories set in? That was my question, was, does it feel smaller because there's more of it?
For me, I don't think so. But it is more of a conscious effort to put myself in a mindset that I'm not just watching another show as I'm flipping through mail or whatever. You know what I mean? It's because it's a conscious choice. And I know for me, some of the epic feel, and I've had to overcome this, used to be because for me, if I was in a theater, especially a full theater, that created a lot of the epicness, the oohs and ahs of some of those things. The emotional reaction to something that happened can create for me some of that epic feel, and that's not going to happen at home by myself.
Yeah, but will it happen at all on a TV?
It will for me. I don't think it changes it doesn't diminish it for me in any way. It doesn't make it feel smaller or anything. Like I said, it's just a perception. It's just like I used to think it was rare, and now I think, oh, it's not rare. It happens all the time, but I still see it as grand and epic, even if it's on a TV or in the theater.
But maybe in a similar way, Wendy, let me ask you a question, is for many years we didn't have, what they're calling all kinds of different names now, but, appointment television and what's the phrase they use now? There's so many good shows. For many years, you only had one or two like really good shows, and the rest were just average TV entertainment. So you could appreciate some of those because they were rarer. And now what you're kind of saying is there's several of these things that are that way. So does that lose you appreciating or enjoying something because there's more of it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I'm curious if things are epic, if they're that readily available.
Still, to me, they
so
are.
I'll be curious.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll be very curious to hear.
Yeah. Love to hear some other
if
folks'
this
thoughts.
sparks any conversation.
Yeah. Because for me, I don't think so. But then again, I know I've also been much more intentional the last couple of years of my life, whether it's getting older or maybe having a slightly better TV or sound system and more of an appreciation. And do feel epic on some of these things, from storytelling to the visuals that are put on screen, the quality of some performances as well, too, can create that epic nature. Like you feel like you're literally, right there in a moment with someone in a performance.
Yep.
Maybe it has something to do with imagination, too, because I'm thinking to myself that even when I didn't visually see epicness, like on old Doctor Who, I still felt the epicness of the Doctor and the universe around him and where he went, what he did. And even when I read books, like when I read the Lord of the Rings books before the movies were even a thing, the epic grand nature of everything and the epicness was vivid in my mind. So maybe that has something to do with why it doesn't really affect me or make it less epic for me. Because a lot of it is imagination based too. I don't know. Maybe I'm going off on some crazy weird theory.
Well, I agree that it's imagination based, which is why when you see it on the screen, it's not imagined, right? It's presented to you. I'm curious, because I'm thinking about actually, Dune as well as, the Foundation, because to me, Foundation is a TV series that is epic. It definitely conveys the epicness of that story very well on a TV show.
Yeah, well, like what he said, let us know what you think. Good discussion. All right, let's head over to the spoiler-filled back porch. Today we talk about Stranger Things, Harley Quinn, Alien Earth, Fallout, and Pluribus. First up on the back porch, I'm going to talk a bit about Stranger Things 5. We've had everything but the finale. And I just want to hit some of the highlights of why. First of all, I'm super excited that we go right into the action. There's no separating the groups like there was that season where everybody was off on their own. Didn't like that at all. They're all still together. I love how they're bringing more and more people into the into the fold. Now the science teacher is in by the end of this episode 7, or by episode 7. And bringing in all sorts of people, including our can't remember her name all of a sudden, but our radio DJ's girlfriend, the Candy Striper, bringing her in as well. Bringing her in not in a voluntary way, but having her be a victim, or not a victim, but present during the attacks on the hospital. So I really dug that. I love. Probably my favorite character in the entire show is Max. So I was just excited beyond belief when she made an appearance at the end early on when she greets Holly in the mind, as we found out. They're all pretty much in Vecna's mind. But she's there, she's trapped, she helps Holly out. And I love how Holly at the end is, when basically Max is just kind of almost giving up. Again, Holly's like, if you have, I'm going out there. You can come with me or not. And then they start looking, and then Holly, herself figures out a lot of stuff. Holly is a great character. She quickly becoming one of my favorite characters. I love how she believes and embraces her brother and his fantasies, and his imagination. I don't like how she lost her little token, her little miniature. That kind of irritated me at the end. But I'm really excited to see. I was very excited to see Max come back Holly did come back to her body, but her body, unfortunately, is trapped in this, as we've now found out, not the Upside Down, another dimension, an entirely third dimension. Not in the sense of 3 dimensions, but you know what I mean, a third one, which apparently is located up above the Upside Down. So when she finally broke through and found the hole and crawled through, she started falling, would have been to her death in the Upside Down, but she was grabbed by Vecna at the last second, and she managed to see Holly, or Holly managed to see Nancy, and Nancy managed to see her up on the rooftop. So they know she's still alive, but she's captured again. But Max being back, amazing. Mrs. Wheeler, the mom, deciding that she needs to help out because those things attacked and took her daughter, and she manages to blow 3 of them up. I thought was really cool. And then she wanting to go with them on the graded, on the cross to the, going across the bridge, the mission. And they're like, Mom, no, you got to stay. You can barely walk. So I wonder if she didn't seem to have any concern for Dad, which I found kind of funny, when she was going out there to try to save the kids. So I'm kind of curious if she is going to go back and see if he's okay, because as far as we know, he's still in a coma or something. But I really enjoyed the way this season is just nonstop. The pacing is excellent. You still get character moments. We still get, reveals and discussions and growth, but it's a nonstop storytelling pace. And I just really dig that. And I cannot wait for the finale. And so I am going to go watch all those specials, those behind the scene things that Kevin linked us to, as I get excited for the final episode ever, quote unquote ever, of Stranger Things. We might get some movie in the future or something, but the final episode of Stranger Things on Netflix coming up in just a couple of days.
Yeah, I've greatly enjoyed the season so far. Hey, with a show this popular, 9.5 years since it premiered now at this point, there's a lot of opinions out there about this season so far. Not all of them good. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. For me, much like with what Brent said too, I'm very similar in that I am really digging it. I've enjoyed, although I know some people haven't, the fact that we've had a few different, shall we say, stops of the story to let some characters really share some meaningful stuff, some conversations. But I think they're conversations I wanted to hear. And there have been so many of them from Will, putting his soul out there to the Nancy and Jonathan, Dustin and Steve, Joyce and Hopper, and name it. After 9.5 years with these characters, I want to see those kind of scenes. It's going to be very interesting to see in the finale, to me, are we going to lose anybody? I mean, there have been some pretty big scenes, Demogorgon attacks and Demodogs and everything else that people have survived so far. That where I thought we might lose, 1 or 2 at some point in this season, and we haven't. Does that mean we will in the finale? Don't know. Could everyone or almost all the main characters survive? Sure. I mean, we're this is something they very much have got in an 80s setting. Let's face it, there were a lot of movies, a lot of stuff in the 80s. People had plot armor, so I don't have to lose a character or 2 to somehow give it more emotional depth for me. I very much enjoyed what they're doing. As Brent said, we've had lots of big action stuff, some bigger understanding of the Upside Down and wormholes and everything else. Characters going on quite the journeys back and forth between themselves. So it's been great for me. I've really enjoyed some up and down episodes because of the natural pacing of some things. But speaking a little bit of the Tuner Minute and the epicness of things, I wish there was a theater that was airing this finale. I would have definitely tried to grab a chance to see this with 100, 200, 300, whatever it might be, Stranger Things fans. That would have created more epicness to me than just sitting at home for it, though I'm sure I'll be watching lots of reactors and analysis and us talking and such. But, big thumbs up for me.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely going out with a bang. And I agree, Kevin. I want to have those moments where the characters talk to each other about what's been happening. And I think they've done a good job of mixing those in with story for the most part. I think the Dustin angst has been a little bit over dramatized, but I loved the scene that we had in the finale with the two of them talking about their best friends and, committing that, if I die, if you die, I die. And you mentioned Will's, scene where he's talking to everyone. When Lucas is at Max's bedside and she wakes up, I mean, man, I was crying. They talked about that on the Inside the Episode, how all the actors were emotional in that scene. And it was like, well, we all were. And Holly, I totally agree, Brent, has really become one of the standout characters. Holly the hero. I love that. And I'm very concerned for her safety. They've done a great job with those creepy kids and, even Derek. And hopefully he's going to pull a hero card before all of this is done. I am worried that not everybody's going to make it out. No predictions. They're heavily trying to foreshadow that, maybe Elle is going to need to stay behind and hold her finger in the dike or something. But we'll see. I'm hoping that they come up with a very creative solution. I loved when they were thinking about, we need Dustin. Well, who's smarter than Dustin? His science teacher. Go get the science teacher. That was, and then incorporating the science teacher into things. That was awesome as well. And I still am unclear how they're going to, I liked the slinky and the collapsing, the upside down, the tunnel or the tube or whatever they were calling it. They did a great job with visually explaining the concepts that they're trying to show with this ideas of the connections between the universes. I think that's one thing that show does really well. When they, when the other one that I want to just mention is the "I'm not marrying you" scene. That was really poignant and sweet as well.
Yeah. Nancy Wheeler, will you not marry me? Yeah. Good stuff. I really dug that scene, even though I didn't. That scene in particular, where the room is just filling up with this Elmer's glue or whatever the heck it was, just filling up with this goo. I actually was nervous. I actually thought, wait a minute, are these the two characters they're killing off? Because everybody's speculating they're killing somebody off, and we're close to the end of the season, close to the end of the series. Are they killing off Nancy and her boyfriend? And I'm like, I don't know. So I got really nervous in that one, and it was really a genuine relief when they realized that everything had solidified and they were still alive. I was really kind of surprised. Of course, I kept doing the same thing that Nancy finally did at the end, which was when he kept bashing himself against the wall or the door trying to open it. I was like, dude, you're going to hurt yourself. It's not budging. And she's like, stop it. You need to see. It's basically the same thing. So, yeah, it was great. All right. Well, next up, Kevin is going to give us a bit of an update on his Harley Quinn watching.
Yes, I am very excited to let everybody know that I have completely caught up on the series. I watched season 5 since we last recorded. For those who may not remember, this is the one where we got the backstory on Ivy, when she was Pamela. The two of them moved to Metropolis. We got Sean the baby shark causing problems throughout several episodes. Lena Luthor is now kind of the big bad and all, but otherwise it's typical Harley and Ivy stuff. So it was a ton of fun. Again, lots of laughs. Really enjoyed it. I'm so excited to be caught up so that whenever we do get season 6, I will be able to be watching it along with all of you and, chat about it here on the podcast.
Yay! I'm so excited. I'm so happy. We'll be talking about Bane's pasta maker and cappuccinos very soon.
The Adventures of Bane. Yeah, that's hilarious. No, I'm so glad also, Kevin, that you're enjoying the show, this animated show. It's very refreshing. There are some good ones out there. I know you had an issue with animation before, and you've explained it in the past. I'm really glad to hear that. I see that you've embraced some of the good ones.
Yep. Kudos to both of you and many other folks from our Discord, just consistently pecking away at me to make sure. So very glad, tons of enjoyment. I can't be happier about being caught up on it, and just now like, oh damn, for a few months there, it's like I had at least a Harley episode every day to give me a smile. Now I have to wait.
Well, you can always watch them again.
That you can. All right. Well, Wendy, you've caught up on Alien Earth.
Oh, I've started my catch up. I haven't finished. As I mentioned earlier, I had a brief opportunity to watch AMC Plus, so I've watched half of the season, and I should have another window in about a week that I can watch the remaining half of the season. But the fun part is that I ended up luring 2 other people into watching it with me, and they're just as engaged and intrigued by the story and the characters, and it's been just a wonderful show. It's not predictable at all. It's very much in the Alien brand, but it's its own thing. And as I've been watching it with a couple friends, we're constantly asking questions about how things might play out or tie into the overall continuity. So it's been really, really enjoyable to watch this season.
Very cool. So your friends also are familiar with the Alien universe?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. That's always a lot of fun when you watch this particular show, when you're familiar with that. I'm kind of curious, as somebody who wasn't familiar and they watched it, what they would think. So this is all because of the great Hulu fiasco of 2025. Did you ever get that resolved?
No, I have not.
Oh, boy.
Yet. No, that's because I have an annual Disney Plus subscription, and actually in the next 2 days it will get resolved.
Awesome.
To get Hulu added back into a new Disney Plus.
Yeah, for those who weren't paying attention and why Wendy couldn't have seen Alien Earth before, it's because she would have watched it on Hulu, but she had issues with Hulu.
Well, I've got to say that even with that debacle, you found a way to get to the content, and some really good content. So, yeah, very much curious to hear your thoughts once you get to the finale and where they left things.
Yes, to be continued.
Look forward to it. All right. I wanted to chat just a little bit about Fallout. Not a lot, because as I said before, they switched to a weekly model. And while that should cause you to want to talk more about shows, all it causes me is to be angry at them for not giving me everything. But that said, Fallout 2, the first episode back, I was kind of, by the time it was over, I realized we hadn't really done anything with Maximus, and I was like, I didn't really miss that. I didn't mind that we didn't really see Maximus. We saw a bunch of him and his people, and in the episode 2, so we got caught up there with the whole Civil War, and you didn't invite me stuff at the end of that in episode 2. But I'm a couple of highlights for me. The corporate guy, the innovator that they're talking about, and his like mind control devices. That was kind of weird, but also slightly kind of cool to see him test out the first devices on that one, like tough guy, and then have the head pop as a side effect afterwards when he tries to crank it up. And I would say that's my nitpick of the second episode, where we get Hank trying to continue experimenting with the mind control device and seemingly acting out insanity, because he just kept going and getting a mouse, putting on the same device, pushing the same buttons, and it would blow up. And just repeat. He just kept repeating. And then finally decided, I'm going to start testing on humans. His first human blows up. So I don't think he's doing a great job taking over the reins of the leader of that organization and doing the experimentation. But I was also really happy to see son of Hank as as the guy on the robot head would call him, Bud would call him, basically decide he's going to release everybody. And, basically thaws out every single person of Bud's buds and then tells them all he's the new manager. A new race of managers that have been bred to lead, and they all fall in line. Yes, sir. And then he gives them the mission of get us out of here, and they all kind of figure out how to get everybody out, and they all emerge up in the desert, up in the wasteland up top. And so a couple of cool things. I really wish they'd drop everything because I just want to watch it all.
Well, as far as the release schedule goes, there is one thing similar, Brent, that I noticed is the fact that we do have the very different storylines going, like you mentioned the Maximus one and all, along with, Lucy and the Ghoul and all these other things, is with only, one episode to watch at a time, sometimes we're getting a lot of one and not much or none of the other. And when you're watching these in a binge, that's okay because pretty soon it's going to weave back in. So it's making you wait a little more between some of them. And that's what's maybe reduced my enjoyment a little bit of these first two is like, okay, that was interesting. And then, now we're over here. Oh, that's it. Oh, no, we're moving back over there. So, and then I have to wait a week between them. So I am enjoying it. It's going to be good to see more of these different bits, New Las Vegas, what's happening there, and some of this other stuff now too. So again, another big world to be immersed in, which is quite enjoyable. I have found myself, because there's been, some interesting bits in there, rewatching the episode before, the next one comes, just to make sure I'm fully caught up before we jump into it. So, if I've got the time, I'll probably keep doing it because it definitely feels like a show. I want to make sure I'm very in my head with where we're at from each episode, but, definitely good stuff so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've only seen the first episode of season 2. But I felt like I was pulled right back in, and I probably do want to rewatch this one before I watch the second one again, just to make sure I'm following everything. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
All right, well, look forward to us talking about that on every podcast for a little while. Finally, we're going to talk a bit about a show that we've all caught up on, except Whitney hasn't seen the finale yet of Pluribus. Kevin.
Yeah, so we had, this is a show with 9 episodes, and since we last recorded, we've got, 5 of them, or 4 of them for Wendy, so we're about half a season here. And I have been very much digging the show, very into it. It reminds me a bit of Severance in the fact that this is not an action-packed show. You're not going to have big things happening, certainly not in every episode. It is very much a spend time with the character or characters, only 1 or 2 here in Pluribus, and really, for myself anyway, put myself in their shoes. Like, oh my goodness, if this actually happened and that was me, how would I be dealing with some of these things? And it's been very fascinating for me to watch, what's happening with our lead character, with Carol. She has got her issues, her anger issues, her frustration, and everything else. It makes it hard, as Wendy pointed out, if you're someone who gets into a show because of, enjoying a character, sometimes it's hard with some of the choices she makes. But I'm still fascinated as all get out with what's happening. And very much in these episodes, we're kind of getting a little bit past the, oh my goodness, it happened. Oh my goodness, there's not many other people like me. What am I going to do? And she kind of runs the gauntlet in these episodes of the, I'm going to try to fight this, to, okay, maybe some acceptance, to maybe actually getting into it, and then kind of getting a slap in the face and realizing that even though I thought they couldn't get my eggs and therefore couldn't turn me, so to speak, realizing that no, not only is it a possibility, but they're actually very close to being able to do it without having to be as invasive. So that's where she's kind of going to have to go as we head towards the last few episodes. Now, the actress Ray Seahorn, who I've not been familiar with, but I know folks have seen her from Better Call Saul and some other work. I mean, just her facial expressions, that's what I really appreciate. You can see on her face, or at least to me, what's running through her head and trying to deal with everything. For now that, we've got Menuso, aka Manny, from Paraguay, has kind of made his way there, and the two of them are so similar that they just totally butt heads on what they're trying to figure out, even though they think they both want the same thing. That's very fascinating there. And then leading into the finale episode, sorry to spoil you, Wendy, with her finally realizing that as comfortable as she's gotten with Zosha and kind of making their own little world, no, it's not. They're still out to turn her over, and she has to step away. And if we believe her with the package that got dropped in her driveway, just in case she's now got her atom bomb, in case she wants to say screw it and blow everybody up. So fascinating stuff. I'm definitely going to now we have all the episodes. I'm going to rewatch them in a little bit of a shorter time frame. I've enjoyed watching not some reactors so much on this show, but analysis videos, some really good channels that looking at some of the things and meanings of colors and phrasing and things that get brought back episodes later. It's a very fascinating one. That's definitely one where each time you watch, you can probably pick up something new. So I've really enjoyed it. Been a very pleasant surprise, not knowing what it was coming in, and being in its own little oddity and all, and appreciating what we're going to be getting a shot at here.
Yeah, when it first started, I was like, I don't like Carol. So I was having trouble, especially when she was just kind of doing her neighborhood stuff and sort of, I'll call it testing the fences in the beginning. After she went and met the other people who were like her, who they couldn't turn, her character evolved quite a bit after that. And especially after, everyone left the city, and then she asked them to come back. She's just become a much more vulnerable and therefore more interesting character. I just loved when she went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum to steal the real painting of the poster, and then coming up with the story about, I wanted to protect it from the bison. And then that becomes, maybe we need to set up security in all the museums all over the world. That, and then Manny's story was just crazy. I really was not sure if he was going to live on his trek. And I just loved his commitment to trying to save the world, that whole time, him repeating that mantra over and over again. And then, when, he gets, he takes the car to the point of no return, and the people are like, hey, we can just help you get to Carol. We know that's where you're going. And he burns the car. He burns the tapes of him learning the English. And then when he finally gets there, the conflict with Carol initially. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying the show. Where it's going, I have no idea. I'm not really sure how long this story can go. But that could depend on kind of the new wrinkles we learn about, how fast they want to try to assimilate these last 10 people that are left. How important is it that they do that? So yeah, I'm in, definitely ready for the finale and the next season.
Personally, I could see it going for 2 seasons. I don't know about much more than that, for the same, basically the reasons you were wondering. Next season, I see maybe a couple more of them joining. I see our 2 anti-heroes, our 2 people who decided they're going to try to save the world, work out their plans and figure it out. I mean, maybe a 3rd season if they take the whole 2nd season trying to get to the point where they actually have a plan, and then the next season after that's taking care of it. I don't know. But yeah, it can't go on forever, I wouldn't think, one way or the other. But I really enjoyed the series. It's kind of slow. But the characters are interesting. The premise is interesting. It keeps me engaged. It is one of those shows that I have to watch on the other screen. I can't just sit in my chair and watch it. I would be bored to death. But it's enough interesting stuff that I can definitely enjoy it. The pacing is just a little too slow for me. But there were some interesting things that I wanted to talk about, and I don't even remember when these happened because I basically watched the whole series, like the first 7 episodes, I think, all at once, or 8 episodes all at once. 7 episodes, I think. And then I watched 8 and 9 as they came out. But I liked the consistent behavior of the Unimind, at least when Manny was, like you were talking about, Wendy, when he was climbing over that pass and they warned him, hey, don't get stuck by those thorns. They've got bacteria on them. It can kill you. We don't want you to die. And then he gets stuck by those things and he looks like he's going to pass out. In my mind, I was like, well, if he passes out, I know we're going to hear a helicopter coming to pick him up and take him to a hospital. And sure enough, he passes out as his eyes are fake, going closed. And he's going black. He hears a helicopter coming because that's what they'd be doing. They'd be watching him and they would not want him to die. So you knew they would do that. So at least there's consistency there. But I'm going to get nitpicky on a lack of consistency when it comes to Carol's stem cells and them announcing or her getting them to admit that they basically have access to her frozen eggs and they're going to get the stem cells out of those somehow. They're working on it. To my mind, that's inconsistency because they did say they wouldn't do it without consent, yet they're still making something using part of her body that she didn't agree for them to use. Seems to be breaking their own rules, so I'm a little annoyed by that. But maybe that's just a sign that their rules are kind of like ideals, but they will violate them. Although them giving her a nuke kind of negates that too. I like the question a few episodes back where she asked the guy, the DHL driver or whatever, what if I asked for a nuclear bomb or an atomic bomb? And he said, well, we would probably advise against it. Well, will you give it to me? Yes. Good stuff. I like Manny's theory. He's working on a theory. He's got one going. That's why he screamed at that one guy and got them all into that state. He noticed that on that frequency where he was hearing something, when he was scanning all the frequencies, that seems to be tied to them. It's like, it's a frequency that is somehow related to them communicating to each other. And so he's got this theory that maybe when they're in that state, he can try to break through to the person inside and the individual mind instead of the hive mind. And maybe if they come up with some sort of a way to jam that frequency or something, they can actually get people to snap out of it. But it's interesting that he's going down that route. Carol had absolutely no idea what to do. She started digging into the things they ate and stuff like that. But any theory about, how to break them out of the mind, the hive mind, she was clueless on. And she'd finally almost kind of given up and just said, I'm just going to enjoy my time with my pirate girl. But then, of course, realizing what had happened with the eggs and all, she just like, nope, screw you guys. I'm on Team Manny. We're gonna end this thing and we're gonna save the world. But I did want to point out one thing. I don't know about you guys. I was so sad. That one girl who agreed to be brought into the hive mind, the Unimind, and she was just so happy with the animals and especially the baby goat. And then when she opened the pen after she had been joined and let all the animals leave, and she just walked away with the rest of them out of the town because they didn't need to be in this. One thing that was bugging me was I was thinking they're in this little tiny village. They said they were consolidating together to conserve resources and things. Why are they here with her? And then I realized, of course, they were here with her, just like they were in Carol's neighborhood for a while. It's because they are trying to make the people who aren't part of the hive mind happy. So that's why all her village were with her. But then after she got brought in, they had no reason to be there anymore. So they all just left. And I actually kind of choked up a little bit when I saw the little baby goat run after her when she was just walking away, and she didn't care. She didn't care. That is not an improvement to me. That is sad that she like openly loved this little baby goat and had fun with it, and now the goat's running after her, just calling to her, and she just like doesn't care. That's not an improvement in my mind.
And I think that's fascinating. And to me, it goes back a bit to the stem cell thing, which is they have their, quote, rules or guidelines and the way they're trying to do this. But, they won't pick an apple off a tree. but we'll do that and leave those animals to forage for themselves, and many of them will likely die because they've been domesticated to a certain degree. So they don't, so yeah, I think that's, to me anyway, it's a bit of a subtle reminder that this is still an invasion. No matter how nice some of the trappings are for the people who haven't been converted yet, this is still an invasion. The idea that they all congregate to sleep in a giant, hockey stadium or whatever, and they, take care to protect things. The fact that they've got the HDP, you got John Cena describing the fact that they eat people basically. And so that there's reminders of what's really happening here, depending upon which part of this you want to look at, which is the really fascinating part. Because, the whole guy whose name is now escaping me that decides to live in Vegas and has them make up everything for him to have fun, the whole James Bond style card game, just so he can have fun. And he's got a whole harem of women just hanging out with him, He's definitely hey, let's make the best of a bad situation, as opposed to, Carol taking some stuff and playing golf and everything else. So that's when this gets really some fascinating stuff. Yeah. And the frequency and what that could mean. There's also a very interesting theory I saw out there, maybe get some thoughts from you guys on that. Zosha, after she was hurt, when the grenade went off, Carol not realizing it was real, and then in the hospital, and then Carol gave her the truth serum to try to get that out of her, and she went into convulsions. A theory out there that when that happened, she actually left the hive mind. That caused her to go be back to herself, and that she then chose to be reintegrated. So she's a little different than most of the other people in the hive mind, because she was in, then out, then back in. And that's why she's able to work so well with Carol to a degree. So if that's the case, is that a method that could, not that so yeah, it's just a million things to keep thinking about.
There is definitely a lot.
I got distracted by somebody texting me, Kevin. What happened where you think that she snapped out of the hive mind and then chose to go back? What happened?
Well, remember when Carol had the grenade?
Yeah.
And she had to throw it out the window, but she got injured and had to go in the hospital.
Oh,
and then
right.
At the hospital, Carol got some hands on some truth serum and injected her with it, trying to get her to answer questions. And then at one point in the wheelchair, she literally fell to the ground, convulsing, was going to die. And Carol had to step back and they saved her. There was fan conjecture in a discussion thread I saw on a video that was enough to actually knock her out of being a part of the hive mind.
Right.
But because she truly loves it so much, she chose to go back under. So now in her head, she's able to understand more of being in and out. And therefore, that's why she is so well and so compatible with Carol. It's just an interesting thought, and that might be something eventually that Manny or Carol somehow discover and are able to use in the future.
Yeah, just some way to block the connection. Either it's a frequency thing or radio frequency thing like Manny's theory, or a chemical thing like Carol found out.
Exactly, maybe. So that's what's going to be some fascinating stuff to maybe discover, and what the big alien aspect is of them trying to do this throughout the universe, basically, and finding a way to propagate it over and over and over, and each time overcoming and getting better at, killing less than a billion souls to find a way to convert people.
Okay. Well, let us know what your theories are if you're watching Pluribus. Let us know on Discord, and what you see or look forward to in season 2. And I guess we'll hear back from Wendy after she's watched this in the next episode, maybe. Or she'll share her thoughts on Discord for all we know. But I want to thank Kevin and Wendy for being here and everybody for listening week to week. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you next time.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We really appreciate you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
If you'd like to contact us here at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, we offer a wide variety of feedback options, including email at feedback@tuningintoscifitv.com, our voicemail at 706-927-8478, on Skype voicemail at Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, or you can visit our website at tuningintoscifitv.com to find the link to our forums, or to use the SpeakPipe widget to leave us a voice message. You can also find us on Twitter at twitter.com/tuningintosci-fi,
or on Facebook at facebook.com/tuninginto SciFi TV.
The theme music for Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV is by Beatnik Turtle, used with permission. You've been listening to Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, episode 682, recorded December 29th, 2025.